In 1984, while other kids were playing video games, a 12-year-old boy was coding and creating his own video game. He was a genius, different from others, and that's why he had no friends. He was badly bullied, but despite this, he didn't lose courage. Today, that same boy has become the richest man in the world by building rockets, electric cars, and AI tools. This is the story of Elon Musk. Elon Musk was born in 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa. His father was a mechanical engineer, and his mother was a model and dietitian. As a child, Elon had a unique problem. Many times, he would enter a trance-like state during which he was completely unaware of what was happening around him. His parents and doctors initially thought he had a hearing problem, but later, they realized that during these episodes, his brain functioned like a supercomputer. He would lose focus on the outside world, and his entire brain power would be dedicated to visualizing complex ideas. Basically, his mind was running an entire science lab. Elon had another habit, reading encyclopedias and science fiction books for 10 hours straight. Reading all those books made him very intellectual. One night, while playing outside with his cousins, one of them said he was afraid of the dark. Elon replied that darkness is just the absence of light. Elon always answered people in such logical and factual ways, which is why other kids didn't like him. In fact, he was severely bullied at school. Once, a gang of students threw him down some stairs and beat him so badly that he had to be admitted to the hospital. But all these incidents made Elon stronger, able to endure pain and hardship. Until the age of 8, Elon's family was happy. This photo is from those happy times, but within a year, everything fell apart. His parents divorced. Elon decided to live with his father. At 10 years old, Elon saw a computer for the first time in a mall. He was so fascinated that he insisted his father buy one for him. Sometime later, he got a computer with 5 kilobytes of memory, along with a workbook for the basic programming language. Usually, this workbook took 6 months to complete, but Elon finished all the lessons in just 3 days without sleeping. In 1984, at only 12 years old, Elon coded and created a video game on that very computer. He named it Blaster. It was a single-player space shooter game where the player used their spaceship to destroy alien spaceships. He even sold Blaster to a company for $500. Technically, this was his first business. By high school, Elon realized he was more capable than other kids, and only one country could justify his capabilities: America. But before that, he thought of going to Canada since his mother was a Canadian citizen. According to local laws, she could transfer her citizenship to her children. At 17, Elon set off for Canada. In Canada, he lived with a cousin and started doing small jobs. In 1989, his mother and brother Kimball also moved to Canada. During this time, Elon enrolled at Queen's University. Within 2 years, he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania in the USA, finally making his entry into America. In 1995, after finishing college, Elon and his brother Kimball wanted to start their own business. At that time, the internet was rapidly becoming accessible to common people. However, people still had to use paper directories to find local businesses or stores, which basically listed all businesses in the city. To reach a store, they had to use physical maps or ask for directions. Seeing this, Elon got an idea. Why not create an online listing for businesses? A website where all city businesses would be listed and divided into categories like restaurants, hotels, and doctors, so people could easily search for them. There would also be an online map for direction. Elon and Kimball rented a small apartment and started working on this idea. They named their startup Zip2. Elon coded day and night, while Kimball went door to door convincing shopkeepers to list their businesses on Zip2. In 1 year, Zip2's team grew, the platform improved, and customers started joining rapidly. Later, Zip2 also began developing software for other companies. Seeing this, Zip2 received funding, first of $3 million and then $50 million. By 1999, the internet boom was at its peak worldwide, and big companies wanted to acquire promising startups. As a result, Compaq acquired Zip2 for $307 million. Elon received a full $22 million in exchange for his shares. Thus, at just 27 years old, Elon Musk became a multimillionaire. He could have retired with that money, but Zip2's success was only a small glimpse of his future. During college, while interning at Nova Scotia Bank, he realized that the banking industry was quite slow and old-fashioned, so he wanted to disrupt the banking industry. His vision was to take every aspect of banking, payments, investments, loans, and savings accounts, completely online, without any physical branches. With this vision, he invested $12 million and started X.com in 1999. However, at that time, people did not even trust online shopping, let alone online banking. This made it very difficult for Elon to attract customers. Therefore, Elon came up with a brilliant scheme. He started giving every new user $20 for free upon joining. The customer could spend this $20 immediately. Additionally, there was a referral bonus of $10 for bringing in other people. This strategy was so successful that within just 2 months, X.com had 200,000 users. But the problem was that Elon was one of a kind in implementing such strategies. Meanwhile, a young entrepreneur named Peter Thiel had also started a digital bank called PayPal. Both companies were spending millions on marketing to outdo each other. But at the beginning of 2000, they realized that if they continued fighting like this, both companies would be ruined. So, in March, the two companies merged. Elon became the largest shareholder and CEO of the new company, which retained the name X.com. However, after the merger, it became clear that there were many disagreements between Elon and PayPal's founders. While Elon wanted the company to be called X.com, employees and customers preferred PayPal. Additionally, Elon's management style was quite ruthless. He micromanaged his employees and publicly criticized them for mistakes. Tasks that typically took days or weeks, Elon expected to be completed within a few hours. During this time, Elon married his longtime girlfriend, Justine, and in September 2000, they went to Australia for their honeymoon. Taking advantage of the opportunity, senior executives and the board of directors removed Elon from the CEO position and appointed Peter Thiel as the new CEO. Elon tried hard to regain control after returning, but was unsuccessful. However, he remained a major shareholder in PayPal. Fortunately, under Peter Thiel's leadership, PayPal grew significantly, and in 2002, eBay acquired PayPal for $1.5 billion. Elon received a total of $180 million from this deal. After PayPal's success, Elon had become one of Silicon Valley's most successful entrepreneurs. But then, a major tragedy struck his life. Due to an illness, he lost his 2.5-month-old son permanently. This incident deeply affected Elon. He did not go home for 3 weeks because he couldn't bear to see the empty cradle. As a child, Elon coped with bullying by immersing himself in books and programming. Similarly, to deal with the loss of his son, he threw himself into work. In 2001, at 30 years old, Elon began searching for another industry to disrupt. He had been very interested in space since childhood and used to launch mini-rockets as a hobby. That's why he started exploring the space sector. One day, he wondered why humans had not yet explored Mars. He checked NASA's website and found that NASA had no plans to explore Mars. At that very moment, he decided that his next mission would be to explore Mars. Elon met the world's best rocket scientists and immersed himself in rocket science books, gradually becoming an expert in the field. He launched the Life to Mars Foundation and started the Mars Oasis project, where his main goal was to send a pressurized greenhouse to Mars and grow the first plant there. His objective was to prove to the world that life could exist on Mars. He wanted to showcase this experiment through cameras to the entire world and reignite global interest in Mars exploration. Elon planned to buy intercontinental ballistic missiles from Russia and use them as launch vehicles. He planned a trip to Russia with some aerospace experts, but negotiations with the Russians never went smoothly. The Russians did not take Elon seriously because of his background. Elon had come to buy 3 missiles for $20 million, but the Russians quoted $21 million for just 1 missile. Elon and his team realized that hoping to get rockets from Russia was futile. On the flight back, while his team sat disappointed, Elon was busy working on his laptop. After some time, he told his team they would build their own rockets. He had already calculated all the costs for raw materials, manufacturing, assembly, and launch. He realized that the cost of raw materials accounted for only 2 to 3% of the final rocket cost. The rest could be reduced through better design and manufacturing processes. Elon understood that the real problem in the space industry was not that no one was exploring Mars, but that affordable rockets simply did not exist. So, he set out to revolutionize the space industry, and this was how SpaceX was born. In June 2002, Elon bought a 75,000-square-foot warehouse and converted it into a modern rocket factory. He hired the best rocket scientists and engineers in the world from organizations like Boeing and NASA. They all shared the single mission of becoming the fastest and cheapest rocket manufacturing company in the space industry. To achieve this, Elon employed several innovative strategies. While other aerospace companies kept their rocket design teams and manufacturing teams separate, SpaceX brought them together. This saved time and reduced mistakes. Then, SpaceX adopted vertical integration, meaning that parts previously sourced from third-party suppliers, like engines, fuel tanks, and battery packs, were now made in-house because suppliers were slow and expensive. Finally, Elon noticed that other companies were spending 2 to 3 times more on every part of their rocket, even though cheaper parts could do the same job. With this realization, Elon declared that SpaceX's first rocket would be called Falcon 1. At that time, other companies charged about $70 million to send a 600-kilogram payload into low Earth orbit, but Elon promised to do it for only $7 million. SpaceX aimed to launch Falcon 1 within a year, but despite their best efforts, it took a full 4 years to get ready. Finally, in 2006, the day arrived. The 70-foot-tall, silver-colored Falcon 1 was ready for launch. The countdown ended, the rocket lifted off, and the whole team celebrated joyfully. However, disaster struck 25 seconds later. A small fuel leak caused a fire near the engine. Falcon 1 lost control and crashed. Elon and his team literally watched their dreams shatter, but they gathered their courage and immediately began preparations for a second launch. Exactly 1 year later came the second launch attempt of Falcon 1. This time, everything seemed fine 3 minutes after liftoff. The first stage separation was perfect, but then the second stage engine shut down prematurely, causing Falcon 1 to spin uncontrollably and crash again. Elon was disappointed, but he knew they were very close to success, so he began preparations for a third launch. In August 2008, Falcon 1's third launch attempt took place, but success still eluded them. A minor error caused Falcon 1 to explode mid-air. There was pin-drop silence in the control room. Along with this rocket, Elon's $100 million had also gone up in flames. SpaceX now had money left for just one more launch. If the next attempt failed, SpaceX would be finished forever. On one hand, SpaceX was struggling. On the other hand, Elon had another company that was on the brink of collapse, Tesla. When Elon was entering the space industry, he was also revolutionizing the automobile industry. He knew that current cars depended on fossil fuels, which were rapidly depleting, and they caused pollution. His prediction was that in the future, every country's government would want to shift to clean energy-powered cars. In other words, electric cars were the future. By then, some companies had launched electric cars, like General Motors' EV1. But these cars were slow, expensive, and had limited range, so they all failed. As a result, automobile companies lost interest in electric cars. Elon realized that to make electric cars successful, they had to surpass gasoline cars in speed, range, price, and aspirational value. Fortunately, he found a startup working on exactly this vision, Tesla Motors. Tesla was started by engineers named Martin and Mark, whose idea was to build a high-performance electric sports car called the Roadster. Traditional electric cars used lead-acid batteries, but Tesla's research showed that to charge the Roadster quickly and extend its range to 300 kilometers, it would need the same batteries used in phones and laptops, lithium-ion batteries. Their plan was also for the Roadster to accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 4 seconds, while being superior in looks and features. Seeing this vision in 2004, Elon invested $6.5 million in Tesla and became its lead investor. But while Tesla's vision was bold, executing it was extremely difficult. Lithium-ion battery technology was quite new, and modifying it for a car was challenging. Tesla had estimated they could sell each Roadster for $65,000, but by 2007, production costs had soared to $100,000 per car. At such high costs, Tesla's business model was doomed. Understanding the urgency of the situation, Elon became Tesla's CEO himself. But before he could do much, the global financial crisis of 2008 hit, severely impacting the automobile industry. Apart from SpaceX, Elon had already invested all his capital into Tesla, and other investors refused to put in more money, pushing Tesla to the brink of bankruptcy.
Basically, in 2008, on one hand, Elon Musk's SpaceX company was on the brink of collapse after 3 consecutive launch failures, and on the other hand, Tesla Motors was also about to go bankrupt. In such a situation, any logical entrepreneur would have raised funds to save one of the 2 companies. But Elon was different. He sold his McLaren car and other personal assets to invest money into Tesla so that it could survive a little longer. At the same time, he personally got involved in making the 4th launch of Falcon 1 successful. Finally, in December 2008, the day for Falcon 1's 4th launch arrived. Once again, Falcon 1 stood ready on the launch pad. The future of SpaceX and even Elon himself depended on this one rocket. The countdown ended, and the rocket began to lift off. The first stage was successful, the second stage was successful, and the third stage was successful too. But no one celebrated immediately. Then a few minutes later, everyone in the control room started cheering. The screen confirmed that Falcon 1 had reached orbit. SpaceX had become the first private company in the world to achieve this. Just weeks later, NASA awarded SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to deliver cargo to the International Space Station. Because of this contract, SpaceX became the most successful private space company in the world. Meanwhile, Tesla was still struggling, so Elon personally contacted investors and explained that not only was the car ready, but thousands of people had already pre-ordered it. He needed funding just to mass-produce the car and deliver it to customers. Finally, Elon's efforts paid off. He got $40 million in emergency funding on Christmas Eve, and Tesla was saved just days before going bankrupt. With this funding, Tesla started mass production and deliveries of the Roadster. Its success proved to the world that an electric car could be fast, have long range, and look classy. But there was a problem. The Roadster was a 2-seater sports car and quite expensive, made for a niche customer segment. Elon knew that if he wanted Tesla to become a successful and large automobile company in the long term, they had to make cars for the mass market. So in 2012, Tesla launched the Model S, a premium electric sedan that could accelerate from 0 to 97 miles per hour in just 4.2 seconds. Its range on a single charge was around 500 kilometers, and it looked very cool. What made the Model S special was that it wasn't just a car. It was a computer on wheels. It had a massive 17-inch touchscreen where users could virtually control every function of the car, such as lighting, climate, navigation, and entertainment. Plus, like a laptop or mobile phone, the car could receive software updates to add improvements and new features. Even the door handles would automatically pop out when the user approached the car. Because of all this, the Model S was not just a good electric car, it was much better than any existing car. It became very successful right after launch and was awarded Car of the Year by Motor Trend. After that, Tesla not only launched its IPO, but also became profitable in 2013. Later, Tesla launched the Model X, Model 3, and Model Y, and by 2017, Tesla became the most valuable car company in the world. Today, Tesla is very close to producing fully self-driving cars. On the other hand, SpaceX launched Falcon 9, which carried 50 times the payload of Falcon 1 into space. In 2015, they launched reusable rockets, eliminating the need to build new rockets for every launch, which significantly lowered the cost of space travel. Through SpaceX, Elon also launched thousands of satellites under the Starlink project, providing high-speed internet services to many parts of the world. Currently, they are building their largest rocket ever, Starship, which will be capable of taking humans to Mars. Besides that, Elon has revolutionized transportation by founding the Boring Company and inventing the concept of the Hyperloop. In 2015, they launched Neuralink, which implants computer chips into human brains to enable direct communication between the brain and computers. Elon's latest move was acquiring Twitter in 2023 to enter the social media space. At the same time, he started an AI company through xAI. Because of all these companies, Elon has become the richest person in the world, with a net worth of about $400 billion, almost double that of the second richest person, Jeff Bezos. But Elon is as controversial as he is wealthy. His employees have complained about tough working conditions and extreme work pressure. Even after acquiring Twitter, he fired thousands of employees in a single stroke. His controversial tweets have often negatively impacted stock prices. After donating nearly $280 million for election campaigning, Elon became quite close to former President Trump, giving him a lethal combination of money and political power, which some people fear he might misuse. But despite all this, one thing is absolutely true about Elon Musk. Whether you love him or hate him, you cannot ignore him, because this man doesn't wait for the future. He creates the future. This was the story of Elon Musk. If you like this video, I would recommend you watch the first part.